Ro.creating. Welcome. So this week I am going to get out my vacuum unit and my dust separator. This will be a little closet in the corner. I built a shelf big enough for the vacuum to sit up on top of, and I took that slice off the side of it to allow any hoses and stuff come down. Maximize the space I have. And then underneath I'll have bins. So the dust separator I got has a 50mm port, and I have to somehow get that to, connect together with a 4-inch. But the fact that it's a 50mm port, everything had to be based off that. So I went to my plumber's yard and I got 50mm elbows, 50mm straights, everything, all based off 50mm. So first bit is then to reduce my 4-inch down to the 50mm size of the inlet of the dust separator. That does sound a bit confusing, but how do I do that? A traffic cone. Perfect. Sure, it's exactly what you want. It's tough, it's plastic, you can cut it and work with it. So that was my first job. Figure out where do I need to cut it, how can I get the whole lot to kind of blend together. Those sparks are they're hiding something that shouldn't be there. But anyway, got my angle grinder, started cutting and just working away, bending plastics, and eventually get them to fit. Happy days. Now the other side. So mark off what depths you think you need. Start cutting. Like this type of plastic, all you need to do is weaken it. You can kind of bend it to what you want. Get it tighten off, kind of fine tune it, get it to fit nice and snug. Right. Now they need to be attached, so good epoxy. The reason I used epoxy here because I just want to fill as many of the gaps as I possibly can. Again, it's just to keep the vacuum as efficient as I can. And epoxy kind of fills it nicely. That's a good, strong bond. And then, as it's there drying away, just filling in all the cracks. And then when it is dry, I give it a coat of roof sealing paint, just to seal it that little bit more. And it was black. So then hook everything up, and I'm now able to put that in place. And the concept with the dust separator is dusty air comes in, dust swirls around, falls down, and the air continues up. You're not blocking filters, you're keeping everything nice and clean, and it's very efficient. So now dust separator, that I have a little place there for it to be nuzzled into, and it gives me loads of places to attach it in to keep it nice and rigid. And the concept is I have a flexi hose that I can now hook into that 2-inch pipe from my mitre saw. Happy days. Might work, don't know, but it's certainly worth the try. So I've got a plastic weld, an elbow, that'll give me a direction now for the air to come up from. And the concept here is get my flexi hose and attach it onto that elbow. Now I cannot afford to have that be moving around the place because it'll break all the joints and that'll just be bad. So the idea is here is to just cable tie it onto that piece of wood, and you put 4 cable ties on there, that's not going anywhere, and you can be as rough as you want with the bottom part, because that's the point. I'm going to be changing that from port A to port B. Coupler and friction fit onto 2-inch pipe. I was dying to try this out, so got myself a plastic tub, stuck it onto my 4-inch pipe, and just hooked the whole thing up. Exciting. Now, how I'm gonna power this? A kinetic extension lead with a remote control switch. So the extension lead has a button. Good. And the switch has a button. Good. So I have 2 on-off switches. Ooh, I like that. And there's good suction from it. Now I wanted to doctor my Dyson hose make that like a vacuum for the shop, so it had some bracket on it from when it was attached to the old machine. Cut that off, just making it fit for purpose. Now it wouldn't fit into a 2-inch, and it was too small for a coupler, so what do? The sleeve that came off it was the perfect fit, and it had the thread on the inside, so you could actually get a really good connection to the hose. So I needed to clean off a few little bits. And once I did, it's a perfect fit. So cut the end off my hose. That threaded sleeve went on, plastic weld into my 2-inch pipe, and now again everything's on the same system. So I can now plug it into that, and it works. Again, you have to test these things. So now I'm sucking the dust off the ground. Hopefully I'm filling that tub. And as you can see, it's full. So all that dust has been separated. None of that dusty air went up to the vacuum unit. Now I needed to figure out a way of connecting that to a bin so I could permanently collect the dust. What will I get? A dog food container. Couldn't think of a better thing. It's even see-through, so I can see how much dust it has. Brilliant. And then it turned evil. Here is a little montage of the work and effort I put into sorting out that bin. Bit of cutting, bit of cutting, bit of marking, bit of drilling, bit of gluing, bit of screwing, and then, sure, a lovely little thing made. Connected in, up like that, airtight fit. I even made a little support rib for the middle of it, because I thought there'll be a bit of pressure there. And that was great, looking good. Glued everything up, screwed everything in, was doing well. Connected up my vacuum, pressed the button, and bang! The flipping thing imploded on me. So, after crying for a while, feeling sad, then I picked myself up and said, right, what can I do to fix this? So I got my construction glue and I started just piecing it together bit by bit. And after a while I said that's probably not a good idea, so I went to plan B, which was continue. So I got some black spray paint and I got some primer. And I'll solve the problem and the issue with the container later on, but I'll do this now. So, hooked everything back up, and I had an idea. Why don't I just cap the end of you and trap the dust in the hose? Do it. Absolutely. So just got a cap, put it on the end. Great. So that seals that doesn't allow air up. Great. And then instead of having two bins, I'll have one big bin. Now you can see what happens there, there's fine suction. So I want to control that thing shooting up and down. I don't really want that happening. So I'll get a couple of 4-inch brackets. I'm going to attach that onto the wall. And then, no real movement. Bin underneath. So now I can collect the dust, and as I see it filling up the hose, I can just take the top off. Great. Got some 2x2, very brittle 2x2. Did some cuts. 10 in total, and then I did it with the vacuum. Now I was never expecting this to solve the problem. Mitre saws are notoriously dusty, but I am way down on the amount of dust there from having the vacuum on. That's there in the cap. Perfect. You can see here a before and after picture with the vacuum, without the vacuum. It's dramatically reduced.
So I have to say I am really thrilled, kind of a bit surprised, but really thrilled at how well this works. It seems to be super duper effective. The fact that I can have the option to plug in a Hoover, an old Dyson, to put a direct port to my miter saw, and eventually I'll have one going to the table saw as well, that I'll be able to interchange those in here. It takes a couple of seconds, and like once a week, once a fortnight, whatever it needs to be, just pop the top off that and empty it out into the bin. Happy days. Like, really, the MacGyver Frankenstein machine here has really worked well. And personally speaking, the fact that I've actually used the traffic cone in it makes me just a little bit happier. It's kind of cool. But listen, thank you very, very much for watching. Please leave a like, leave a subscribe. You know, I tried to defy the laws of physics. It didn't happen this time, but it will. The man here, he's still a little bit. But sure, what can you say? Listen, thank you so much. Leave a like, leave a subscribe. Thank you. Is that right? Come on.